All right, time to preview some of the best games of week 4 in college football. Let's start with Florida at number 4 Miami. This will be your primetime ABC game, Ted, 6:30 on ABC. Currently, Miami is a 7.5 point favorite. I mean, Miami may be the best team in the country. But the interesting part about this game, there's not going to be some huge talent gap in this game. These two teams are going to be close to evenly matched from a roster talent standpoint. The big question is, how does DJ Lagway bounce back off what I assume is the worst football game he's played in his entire life?
No kidding. That is, we talked about it all off season at quarterback, especially a young quarterback that's not all that experienced. Practice matters, and the guy missed a ton of practice. I expect he is going to get better week by week. Could be wrong. Maybe that locker room's gone. Maybe Napier's lost the lock. I don't know. But I've seen enough good from Florida that I'm taking Florida to cover the spread and have a
Ooh,
chance to win the football game.
I don't think that's that crazy of a take, man. And
I felt the same way against LSU, and they turned it over 6 times and still had plenty of opportunities in that football game.
I I don't think DJ Lagway's issues are things that can be corrected in a week. Bad feet, bad eyes, bad decisions. But I do think Billy Napier can protect him a little more with the play calling. Run it more. Give him some layups in the passing game. Don't make him drop back and read it out every single time. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
give this guy some easy throws. And I think, especially if Lagway plays well early, Gators are going to make this thing interesting. It's very important that they get off to a nice start in this game. If they go down 10-0, 14-0, the vibes could get really sad on that sideline and they could crater. But we saw it a year ago. Just when you think Billy Napier is going to be fired and the program is dead and they're about to have to hit reset,
Here it comes.
last year they showed some life, man. So I
Yeah.
I expect the Gators to show some life in this game. I I really do. That being said, no, dude, I'm with you. What? Give me Florida plus 7.5. Why not? Everything points to Miami absolutely handling Florida in this situation, but it's college football. Nothing makes sense. Give me Florida plus 7.5.
That's how I feel. And I know that Miami, they they got it going right now.
No doubt.
Okay. And I'm sure that the fan base has started to come out of the woodwork a little bit that's been in hiding for, a decade or two. But this is not like it was at LSU, environment wise.
Right.
So I think that plays a little bit into Florida's favor. Having just been on the road against LSU, this is a little more manageable of an environment and could be a could be a fatal mistake, but I just don't think they're going to turn it over as much as they did against LSU. Could be proven wrong there, but I'm with it. I like Florida in the points, and I don't think anyone right now has Miami's look good, but I don't think anyone is unbeatable currently.
I I look at Carson Beck. He's been very efficient this season. It feels like Florida's goal needs to be, hey, let's limit Mark Fletcher in that Miami running game and let's make Carson Beck beat us. Now, he's got some dudes at wide receiver and he's played well, but we all know we're familiar with some of the mistakes he made when he was the quarterback at Georgia. Like, he'll throw you one or two if you make him drop back and read everything out and
Put some pressure on him.
make some tight window throws, like make him uncomfortable. And I think Florida's capable of doing that. That being said, Miami did beat them in the swamp last year, and I know there's a bunch of turnover on rosters now, but they beat them in the swamp 41-17 last year. So I'm starting to feel crazy about our picks. But one one last thing about this game. Would it shock me if a game that has Billy Napier and Mario Cristobal as the head coaches, would it shock me if there were some game management issues that play a large role in this one? No, it would not shock me. Something to keep an eye on, Ted.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. It's there does seem to be some head scratchers after some of these games, and Napier needs a good he needs his team to show up and play, but they need a good game from the sideline too. Like you said, put Lagway in some better spots, help him out a little bit as he gets ramped up to speed. And you're going to have to everything else in order to win the game or even stay close. You're going to have to be really buttoned up everywhere else. You can't just hand away, free first downs and field position with poor game management.
Call a game, Billy Napier, call a game to win the game.
There you go.
Call a game to win the game. It's like Brian Kelly said when he got all mad right after the game when that guy asked him a question. We played to win the game. So help Lagway out, and I think this thing could be interesting. Or it feels like it's one or the other. Miami or Florida wins by 3, or else Miami wins by like 24. That's how it feels.
I'm with you. And I feel like the way the game starts is you feel like you may have a very fragile football team in Florida currently. And if Miami jumps out to a 2 or 3 touchdown lead, I could see it snowball quickly.
Let's both of us on the Gators. How about that? I like that.
I don't know is that a good thing or bad thing. I don't
I I'll let you know on Saturday.
know.
All right, moving on to the next game. We've got a marquee matchup in the Big 12 Conference. Number 17 Texas Tech taking on number 16 Utah. This will be big noon kickoff. The one thing that's interesting about that, the game is in Salt Lake City. This game will kick off at 10 a.m. local.
Big morning kickoff.
Big morning kick.
Kegs and eggs.
For the Utes. I think one of the biggest questions for this game is, hey, do you trust Devin Dampier or Baron Morton more, Ted?
And I'm not sure. I like Morton a lot. I think he's really good. And Tech has been, I guess I'm pleasantly surprised with how creative they are on offense and some of the things they do. Simple, smart, and he's a playmaker. But I think Dampier's maybe just a little more dynamic in the playmaking, but I mean, I'm probably going with the home team in this one.
Utah is a 3.5-point favorite.
I do think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a close but high-scoring game.
That feels right. I'd be very surprised if we get a defensive struggle in this one.
Yeah,
but it feels like a massive game for Joey McGuire. Because I do believe the expectation with all the money they spent on this roster, the expectation is that they play in the Big 12 championship game this season.
Been a whole lot of talk, a bunch of predictions. Everyone across the country, because of the portal and stuff, has now they've kind of faded from the conversation, but there's been a lot of talk about Tech, and I think you're right. If you want to be a team that competes nationally and starts to draw people out to Lubbock, Texas, to go win games more than just to go take a big paycheck, you got to win games like this.
There's no doubt about it. And that's why it feels so big for Tech. Like if you want to be a college football playoff team, you got to go win this game against Utah, coming off one of their worst seasons in a long time. And I know that they've added to the roster, and Dampier has solved some of those offensive issues, but that offense for Utah is very, very reliant on what Dampier can do with his legs and, of course, with his arm. It feels like, hey, you got to shut down one guy. if you're Tech. So we'll see it. I maybe my favorite part of this game is a tweet that I saw, Ted. Did you see the tweet about Coy Eakin, Texas Tech's leading wide receiver?
I don't think so.
It is I very rarely do not very rarely, but I don't laugh out loud a ton when I see a tweet these days, but this one made me laugh.
Oh my gosh. The sunburn.
This is why you got to watch on YouTube, people. But the tweet is Coy Eakin is a fair skinned fella, redheaded, fair skinned fella. And the tweet says Texas Tech wide receiver Coy Eakin has been ruled out of the Utah game with a sunburn,
That's pretty
which
good.
is hilarious. Now, if Joey McGuire has a sense of humor at all, he's got to put Eakin on an injury report, questionable sunburn.
Uh,
That is the only thing that could make this better. But yeah, that's one of my favorite tweets of the college football season so far. But who do you like? Sounds like you like Utah. Are you laying the 3.5, you think?
I like Utah. Yeah, I think I would probably lay the 3.5. Again, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Um, you know, 38-30, something like that in that range. I think Tech has the ability to go win it. But I don't know. I've just got some built-in trust with Utah. It feels like when Utah has a quarterback, they are a dangerous football team, and I feel like they got a quarterback this year. But I mean, let's be honest. This is the Dodgers versus the Rockies when it comes to payroll. And I kind of like you said with McGuire, I feel like the pressure is on Texas Tech in this game.
I think that's fair. I'll, I'll take the points with Tech though. I just when an offense is so driven around one player, I don't know, if I just think that if Tech can limit Dan Pierce's effectiveness, then they're going to be in a really good spot. And they've got a more, let's call it, explosive offense than Utah does when it just comes to, hey, let's push it down the field with Baron Morton to those wide receivers. And frankly, I expect Tech to hold up well at the point of attack because it's time for those defensive linemen to earn those paychecks.
I agree with you. I 100% in agreement. I will say that, and again, I haven't seen a ton of Tech, but my feeling from watching them is they're talented on defense, but they're undisciplined.
Mm.
And I think Utah's going to have to find a way, and usually a quarterback that can run around, makes it like do some things off schedule, really makes an undisciplined defense pay. That's what they're going to have to do if they want to win it.
It's I like Tech. It's also very possible that Devin Dampier thrusts himself into the Heisman Trophy conversation after an awesome performance in this one.
Yeah.
Like that could be an outcome as well. But I think Tech's a little more explosive. I expect them to be a little more aggressive pushing it down the field. And when I feel like the rosters are pretty similar, Tech's probably a little more talented with what they've invested. I usually lean to the team I think can produce explosives.
Yeah. Glad we'll be able to get up and watch it though.
10 a.m. local.
Yep.
Have fun with that one. All right, couple Big Ten games we need to hit. How about this one? Number 9 Illinois at number 19 Indiana. This will be your primetime game, 6:30 on NBC. Currently, the Hoosiers are a 5.5 point favorite. How about this? The first time these two teams, the first ranked matchup between these two teams since 1950.
That's crazy. I mean, I could have guessed it's been a really long time, but that's, 3/4 of a century. Yeah, that's a long time. Say what you want about Signetti though, and talking trash about the non-conference schedules and all of that, but they're still winning. And I think they're undefeated at home since he's taken over the head coaching job. That's become a tough place to play. So I think you're going to have a really good football game.
It feels like a huge game for both teams. Because when you look at both of these teams' schedules, if you win this one, man, you are going to be in a great position to to backdoor your way into a college football playoff, just like Indiana did a year ago. Because you look at Illinois, the remaining schedule favorable. They win this one. They play USC and Ohio State, but they don't have Oregon. They don't have Penn State. They don't have Michigan.
They play both USC and Ohio State at home, and if they can get past this one, you know, just hand Ohio State the loss, but a good chance to be a one-loss football team.
11-1 is in play. 10-2, very realistic. If Illinois can win this game, and then you can say the same thing about Indiana, pretty much. Now they've got Oregon and Penn State
On the road, both of them.
but other than that, none of the other teams on the schedule are ranked. So this game is massive for both teams and what this season can ultimately be for them. That being said, Brett Bielema being able to play the underdog card, give me Illinois plus 5.5.
Yeah.
I have not been impressed with Illinois' offensive line. And usually, like, I'm expecting a Bielema coach team to have a really good O-line. That's not what I've seen so far, but I just think Bielema is dangerous when he can play the underdog card. And I really like Luke Altmaier. He is one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch in all of college football. I think Illinois got the better quarterback in this game. And I think they have the better defense. It's not going to be easy on the road, but yeah, I'll take Illinois plus 5.5.
Illinois does seem like they seem like a team that travels well with the way that they play. Indiana, the one thing I'm curious to see is, can Indiana spread them out and be efficient in the passing game like they have up to this point? They have not been tested. They've played, nobodies. They just killed Indiana State.
Mendoza's been great against the cupcake schedule they've played. Guys look really, really good.
So we'll see if they can continue that passing attack. Super efficient. He's over 70% completions. Going to be way more difficult. Sometimes that, when you don't have any real serious tune-up, could be a shock to the system when you get out there and play someone that's on or maybe even above your level. I think it's a tight one. I'm leaning Illinois as well, but I keep going back to the fact that all of a sudden Indiana's got this home environment where they haven't lost a game under Cignetti. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but I don't know. Call me a non-believer or whatever, hater for Indiana. I'm not there yet with them in games like this. Give me Illinois.
Both on Illinois. There's one thing that's guaranteed in this game, and that is we are going to get something awesome in the post-game press conferences from the head coaches.
Without a doubt.
One way or the other.
Without a doubt.
There are going to be some barbs exchanged after this one.
We're 3 games into the season, and we haven't seen Bielema try and fight the other coach it's time to get into the national headlines. Let's go. What's happening?
This is the week, no doubt. All right, one more game. Number 21, Michigan, going to Lincoln to take on Nebraska. This is 2:30 on CBS. Currently, the Wolverines are a 2.5-point road favorite. The Bussin Bowl, friend of the pod, Taylor Wan, clearly going to be very, very invested in this one.
Which, by the way, his video at the Hummingbird Festival or whatever that was, that's one of the best videos I've seen in a while. What are we doing? What are we doing, guys?
Lawan is wildly entertaining. Now, it will be Lawan's Michigan Wolverines versus Will Compton, his podcast partners, Nebraska Cornhuskers. But those two guys aren't deciding this one. It'll be decided by the players on the field. And clearly, the big storyline coming into this game is Bryce Underwood on one side, Dylan Raiola on the other. I, what do you think about this one, man? This is a big game for both of these teams.
I know it is.
And frankly, it's a big game for Oklahoma.
I,
OU's going to be cheering hard for Michigan, I
yeah,
think.
it's one of those things where you're kind of torn. I don't know. I feel like most Oklahoma fans want Nebraska to be good again. Um, and I think they are. So like if I just had like everything was taken out of it, we hadn't played Michigan, I'd be pulling for Nebraska big time. And maybe I still am. I don't know. But I think you'll probably disagree with me on this. I think Michigan blows them out.
Whoa. Blows them out.
Yeah.
Double digits, three
Yeah.
scores.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I don't even like it. I'm not even sure why I'm saying it. I feel like they're going to continue to find stuff with Underwood. He's going to get better and better as the season goes. I still like Nebraska to me. I just still don't think they know how to win. I see too many like missed opportunities, and whether it's dropped balls or bad turnovers or defense giving up, massive chunks and bad spots. I still think Michigan has a big talent advantage, and I think they're going to I think Underwood's going to have a here I am type of game.
He showed up in the big way last week with his arm and with his legs, where you went, oh, yeah, that guy's pretty special.
Yeah.
And they said they're going to cut him loose in this one. I I like Michigan too, man. I
Yeah.
one of the main reasons why is I cannot get over just how uncomfortable Cincinnati was able to make Dylan Raiola in the pocket. I think Michigan's a lot better than Cincinnati on defense, and I just think that they are going to bring Jay Barham over and over and over again. And just things are going to be collapsing on Raiola, and I think he may make some mistakes. That being said, if Underwood goes on the road in what is going to be a very, very loud environment and turns it over three times, it won't shock me, and then Nebraska's going to win the game. But I don't know, man. I'm with you. I don't feel like Nebraska's quite there, and the fact that Michigan's head coach is not going to be on the sideline, and they're starting a true freshman quarterback, and we're going, yeah, give us Michigan. It just, I don't know what it says, but it certainly shows that we aren't quite there with Nebraska yet.
And let's be honest, Michigan plays really well when they don't have a head coach on the sideline.
That's a fair point.
The track record's been pretty good. I I think that Michigan is too big, too fast, too physical. If you go down the roster, I think they've got more playmakers. But, you know, maybe it's a dumb pick and freshman quarterback goes out there on the road, which I haven't seen him be a guy that's shaken. Like, even though he he didn't play some great game against Oklahoma, I didn't feel like he at any time didn't have composure. And I know that they had the little uh the little thing going on the sideline, but he didn't look like a player to where the environment was affecting him all that much. It was what was happening on the field. So I don't know. It's one of those where I could be wrong, and maybe I even want to be wrong, but until I see it, I just still think that Nebraska is a level below the top tier programs in the Big Ten, and I still consider Michigan one of those.
Think you got to call an aggressive game for Underwood.
Yeah.
Let him get going in the run game a little bit early. build that confidence, build that juice, let the team see it.
Yep.
Also, let Nebraska's fan base see it. He rips off some runs that those fans are going to be going, "Oh,
Oh my
really?
gosh.
Come on.
I know it.
Look at this
Yeah.
mutant." Now, I there is a large part of me that wants Nebraska to win this game. And it's just so that Nebraska will release Matt Rule's pregame speech.
All right. Yep.
Because, dude, home dogs against a team that doesn't have their head coach and is starting a freshman at quarterback, that is going to be an epic pregame speech from Matt Rule. Like, that's straight up disrespect, man. And his blood is going to be boiling, and that is going to be an all timer before this one from Rule. So there is a part of me that wants Nebraska to win just so that that can get leaked.
Yeah. I Here's the thing though, like what's is this Rule's third year?
Yeah, these everywhere he's been, year 3 has been
This is the third
dang
year.
good.
Okay. They've improved their roster across the board. They've got a quarterback, a good quarterback who he's not a young guy anymore. I mean, he's still fairly young, but he's got seat time. Like you want to talk about schedules, okay? If Nebraska can win this one, they should win every single game they play until they're on the road against Penn State in the second to last game of the year. I mean, if you win this one, you're staring 11-1 right in the face as well. So it's time. Like this is the game that you need to win if you're going to make a run back. Right? If you don't win it, it feels like we're not there yet. We gotta punt, and maybe it'll all come together next year. But I feel like this is somewhat of a big pressure game for Rule as well.
Totally agree. Before we started breaking this down together, I was taking Nebraska to win the game outright. But as we talk through, I think they're going to struggle to block Michigan.
I do too.
And if you struggle to block a team, it's it's hard to go win a big game if you can't block the other team. You know what I mean?
And I feel like Michigan is going to make it a chaotic game. Well, at least whenever their defense is out there. And I feel like Nebraska has been horrible in those weird situations where you're scrambling, you're trying to make a play, and a guy drops the wide open touchdown. You know what I'm saying? We've seen way too many of those plays from Nebraska. And until I see them make those plays in a big game against a as talented or more talented team, I just got to go with what the past has told me.
Either way, the House Rules podcast is going to do some numbies this week.
Yeah,
Win or lose. People
win
are
or
going to want to
lose.
hear what Matt Rule has to
I'll be
say.
watching that one in the booth on the out of the side of my eye while we're calling our game.
No doubt.